Okay, everybody, welcome to the year-end, year-start, year-in review edition for WCW 2002 as we enter WCW 2003. So let's go over the award winners, my roster, the Power 500, all the other fun stuff, and let's go from there. Anyway, so to begin with, Steve Austin won Wrestler of the Year, because of course he would. It's 2003. Company of the Year was Noah, so there we go. Team of the Year, which is, as always in this game, a little wacky, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. At least they teamed up quasi-regularly. Let's actually pull this up here. Let's just pull up the match history with... So they had 11 matches. They won them all. They had a whole bunch of 99A stars. So, yeah, there you go. They really started teaming up again near the end of the year, which is weird, but, what can you do? Anyway. So, yeah, again, this game is weird when it comes. So, match of the year was Eddie Guerrero defeating Steve Austin at a random SmackDown at the end of December, which gets 100. Because that's what this WD in this game can do. Show of the year was Backlash, so let's just take a quick look at that, see what stupid matches they were able to put over here. So let's see here, not Mania. There we go, Backlash. So it got a 94A, and it was okay. So it started out with Benoit and Regal, who was the tag champs at the time, going to no contest with Hardy Boys, getting a 93. Crash Holly going over Viscera. Kurt Angle defeating Steve Blackman gets an 82. A Rock Edge getting a 92. A King Raven match getting an 86. And then Triple H defeating Steve Austin to retain the world title, getting a 99. Okay. Anyway, Young Wrestler of the Year is Takeshi Morishima. Let's hope his career goes better in this version of reality than the real version. Scott Hall is Veteran Wrestler of the Year, which is hilarious considering at least when I've, looked in it as the WWE still has a severe drug problem, but okay. Female Wrestler of the Year is Lita. Okay. Most Improved Company is Miniature Pro. Okay. Independent Wrestler of the Year is El Pantera. Sure. Manager of the Year is Alicia Webb, also known as Ryan Shamrock, also known as Why the heck is she this good in the game? But okay. Announcer of the Year is good old JR. Color Commentator of the Year is Miguel Linares. I think he works for CMLL. And Referee of the Year was Uno, who works for... Okay, yeah, New Japan. So anyway, that's all for now. That's it on this part. So let's just take a look here. So the Power 500. So Power 500, let's go down to the top 25. 25 was Brother Roy, who gets up from 54. Number 4 was Miyuki Mossman, who drops down from 18. 23 was Jeff Hardy, goes up from 23. 22 is Tenzan, who goes down from 15 last year. 21 is The Big Show, who goes up 1. 20 is Chris Benoit, who drops down from a number 6 position. Number 19 is Ogawa, who drops down from 13. 18 is Scott Hall, who goes up from 27 last year. 17 is Christian Cage, who goes up from 25. 16 is Hase, who goes up from 20. 15 is Kojima, who goes up from 19. 14 is Kobashi, who drops from 1 to 14 this year. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, this is interesting with Kobashi. If we go to the news archive, nope. So, if you notice, yeah. So, he did not come back this year until February. Because in real life, he was injured till the end of, basically the end of the year. So, yeah, he comes back. He goes from the best in the world in 2014 to 2002. Akiyama goes from 14 to 13. 12 is Eddie, who drops down from 11 to 12. 11 is The Rock, who drops down from 5. 10 is Triple H, who drops down from number 2. Undertaker drops down from number 3. Kane drops down from 7 to 8. 7 is Michaels, who returned, and is back at 7. 6 is Sasaki, who goes up from 9 to 6. 5 is Jericho, who drops down from 4 to 5. Angle's number 4, going up from 10 last year. 3 is Misawa, who goes up from 8 last year. 2 is Edge, who goes up from 17 this year. And number 1 is still Austin. So if we look at our folks, so if we go for WCW, Okay, he doesn't count. Yeah, these first two don't count because they're just on paper appearance for Starcade, but top guy, as far as the Power 500, is Booker T. He's 58, dropped down from 55. Kanan's at a 62, up from the 71. RVD's up from 223 to 72. Douglas is down from 65 to 75. Flair is down from 62 to 76. Daniels is up from 101 to 80. Jarrett's down up from 85 to 81. Vamp's up from 153 to 84. O'Hare's up from 166 to 89. O'Hare's up from 132 to 100, or awesome rather. And Kidman's at 104. Ray's at 107. Sting's at 119. Let's see here. Kevin Nash is at 161. Randy Savage is at 190. Macias is at 235. Yeah. Our top woman is Alexis Aree, or Lexi James, at 387. And yeah, that's all for now. Now let's go to the other interesting thing, which is the most popular. So this is the whole world. We aren't going to really worry about that. But if we go just the US, so number one most popular person is Steve Austin. That makes sense. Number two is Joni Lawler, which is interesting because basically, like, she never jobs or like never has anything really bad to her. She's just always in entertaining 100 star angles, so she gets really over as Canyon's manager and the Horseman's backup. Number three is Bill Goldberg. Four is, and this is probably my best accomplishment, is Chris Kanyon. Like, imagine, beginning of 2003, Chris Kanyon is the fourth most over wrestler in the United States. 5 is Edge. 6 is Triple H. 7 is Vampiro, which is interesting, because he's also gotten really over. 8 is Booker T. 9 is Angle. 10 is Kane. 11 is Taker. 12 is still Sting. 13 is Jericho. 14 is Fry, which is weird, but I think that's a weird, like, mod thing. Because actually, let's just check him out real quick. Popularity. Ooh, okay. August 2002. Okay, that's what happened. Okay. So he got, okay. So yeah, okay. So he was part of some movie, so he got really over. Okay, that's interesting. 15 is Flair. 16 is DDP. 17 is Mick Foley. 18 is Nash. 19 is Benoit. 20 is Hall. 21 is Hogan, who's still unemployed. 22 is Big Show. 23 is Steiner. 24 is Shane O'Mac. And 25 is Jeff Jarrett. If we then filter guys to just do WCW. So we got O'Hare at 26, RVD at 29, Helms at 31, another project I'm proud of. Doug is at 32. Rey Mysterio Jr. at 37. Macias at 39. Kidman at 41. Stacy Keibler at 49. Alex Wright at number 50. Lance Storm at number 53. And yeah. And then, like, yeah, if we turn off the filter, reset the filter to anybody 100. So if you go down, like, near the bottom, you start to get, like, the random people you'd think. But, like, yeah, I'm actually really proud of this. And just to take a quick look in Mexico. So it's Austin, Goldberg, Mil Mustaras, Joni Lawler. So that's the same people. The first actual Mexican person is, okay, Dr. Wagner Jr. Then you get Del Santo, Latin Lover. Okay, that makes sense. Meanwhile, in Japan, nope, British Isles. In Japan, number one is actually Bill Goldberg. Okay, and so yeah, actually, yeah, this is interesting because Vamp's number 6. So 7 is Misawa, 9 is Muda, 12 is Shono, 16 is Sakuraba, 19 is Kawada, 20 is Kobashi. Okay, there you go. So yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. No really company wars. If we look at the world by influence and importance, we're, you know, number 2 or behind WB in both cases. So next up, like, let's take a quick look at our creative meeting. So franchise players: Bill Goldberg, number 1 guy. Vampiros is number 2, is our new top heel. I mean, I guess after defeating, you know, the the three people from WCW, Sting, Luger, and DDP in an elimination match. 3 is Booker T, 4 is Flair, and 5 is Kanyon. Next big things is AJ Styles, Jordan Cole, who's Chrissy Van, and Celine Carter, who you know better as Lufisto. Talk the Cock is Flair, Kanyon, Booker, Savage, DDP. Showstoppers is Ray Jr., RVD, Liger, who will be gone soon, Styles, and Kanyon. Ring Generals is Ray Jr., Storm, Jarrett, Liger, and Chris Daniels, or Morningstar. Who's hot? Vampiro, makes sense. Cash, okay. Booker, and then Harrison Storm, who just won a big match at Starrcade. Who's not? Luger, yep. Miller and Smiley, and okay, so yeah, that all makes sense. Time Decline, Flair, yep. Terminal Decline, Luger, Nash, GDP, and Sting. So yeah. And just as a quick look, if we take a look at our titles, just a quick reminder of the year. So if we go back to this last Starrcade, Tajiri defeating Chavo for the title. He defended against Kaz in January. He defeated Noble in February. Defeated Cash in March. Defeated Kaz again in April. Lost title to Jason Jett in May. Lance Storm defeated Jason Jett in June in a three-way. Storm won it because I screwed up. When it defeated Jett in June. Kaz won it back in a three-way. He defended against Jett, and then Jett won the title back in a three-way because I found out Kaz and Jett had bad chemistry. So to win the title, and then Morningstar defeating Jason Jett, and then Morningstar won a four-way, and then he won the eight-way at Starrcade. Then if we go to the next thing down, the U.S. title. Again, if we look at the title, going back to last Starrcade, Billy Kidman won the title from Shane Douglas. This was him as a babyface. He defeated Hugh Morris in a defense. He defeated Ric Flair at Ignition. Jarrett defeated Kidman for the title. Jarrett beat him in the rematch. Jarrett beat Sean O'Haire. And then RVD, in basically his first month in the company, defeated Jarrett. Rob Van Dam defeated Bigelow at Great American Bash. Then he defeated Vampiro. Then Vampiro defeated RVD at Clash of the Champions. After Fall Brawl at a Nitro, thanks to interference and stuff, Chuck Palumbo defeated Vampiro for the title. Palumbo had a successful defense against Lance Storm. Then Billy Kidman defeated Palumbo for the title back again. And then in the cage match at Starrcade, Ray Jr. won the title. Then if we look at the World Tag Team title, look at the defenses there. Again, we start out last year with Team Canada defeating Finlay and Jason Jett at Starrcade. They defeat Yang and Noble at Ignition. Then they defeat Ray Jr. and Alex Wright at Super Brawl. Alex Wright and Ray Jr. defeat Team Canada for the titles. Jindrak and Stasiak then beat Wright and Ray Jr. for the titles. They won a three-way with Team Canada and Air Raid. Then at Great American Bash, Air Raid won the titles, along with Yang and Noble. They defeat Air Raid, then retain the title against Jindrak and Stasiak at a Nitro. And then at Bash at the Beach, Jared and Douglas win the titles for the Horsemen. Then we have Jared and Douglas defeating Wright and Ray at Clash of the Champions. They have a random title defense against the Mamelukes before Fall Brawl. They defeat Air Raid to retain the titles in October. They defeat Ray Jr. and RVD. And then Air Raid get another title shot. Jared and Douglas, basically get DQ on purpose. And then in 2 out of 3 falls match at Starrcade, Air Raid win the titles. Then there's the Women's World title, where Beth Phoenix defeat Lexi James in the tournament final. She defeated Lexi again at Halloween Havoc. She won a three-way with Lexi and Cole. And then at Starrcade, she defeated Gail Kim. Mayhem Tournament, first winner was Bill Goldberg. Then we have the World Heavyweight title. So again, going back to Starrcade, Booker T defeated Scott Steiner for the title. Booker T defeated Kanyon at Ignition. Then he defeated Vampiro at Super Brawl. He defeated Kanyon DDP in a three-way. He defeated Savage at Spring Stampede. He defeated Kanyon, Sting, and Flair in a four-way at Slamboree. He defeated Steiner in a rematch at Great American Bash. Then at Bash at the Beach, Kanyon won the title. Kanyon defeated O'Haire at Clash of the Champions. He defeated Nash before Fall Brawl at a Nitro. Kanyon won a three-way against Vampiro and Booker T at Halloween Havoc. He defeated DDP at Mayhem, and then Goldberg won the title from Kanyon at Starrcade. So, announcers-wise, just for you folks to remember, events it's Shivani, Tenay, and Heenan. Nitro is Shivani, Hudson, and Heenan, and Saturday night is Tenay and Hudson. Oh yeah, I officially made Bill Goldberg my figurehead, because why not? So we'll see how that works. Let's see here. Teams. Okay, yeah. So 3-count still a team. They have lots of experience. Air Raid's a team. They're up to 92 experience. America's Most Wanted. Skipper Romeo. Filthy Animals officially exist still. Generic Stasiak. The Young Dragons, even though they're broken apart. Foam and Hair, even though they can't team due to a match I had. Silver City Rollers, Cash and Reno, one of my most successful random creations. And Team Canada, and the Monarchs. So again, just as a quick look at World Championship Wrestling. So let's look at my top 100. So if we go back to events just for this year. So Starrcade was not even our best pay-per-view. Yeah, Starrcade was like our 31st best show, which makes sense. Anyway, Nitro, best Nitros was the series of hot Nitros we had in October, November, and Halloween Havoc was our best show. Best matches. So best matches was okay. So best matches was a 6-man when Booker T, RVD, and DDP defeated Kane, Flair, and Douglas. That got an 89, and also RVD versus Vampiro, which also got an 89. Right behind that is Kane versus Vampiro and Booker T for the title. That got an 88. Vampiro Macias versus Booker T and O'Hare, and Kane Awesome in a 3-way on October. Air Raid versus Jordan Douglas, 2 out of 3 falls, is our 5th best match ever. RVD versus Flair is our 7th best match ever. And Booker T versus Storm is our 10th best match ever. Let me just, again, attendance is 2002. So, yeah, Starrcade is our best attended show, which is good. And best pirate is also, yeah, there you go. So then, if we go back to the actual roster, well, just actually show you guys as well. So popularity-wise, we're at 76. Importance-wise, we're getting pretty close to getting up to national, but I'll probably cap our size just so we don't get involved in a national battle with the WWE when we don't have enough like actual people. Anyway, and to track progress, we were at 66 at the beginning of last year, and we're up to a 76 now. So 10 points over a year is pretty solid. Let's see here. Broadcasting, yeah. So for events, we've got Comcast, MVS, NHK, Euro, Telehust, and 10 Network. Nitros on Canal 5, Channel 5, ESPN International, FX, NHK, and the 10 Network. So yeah, owner goals. So we'll probably get new owner goals in a couple days here, but at the moment, it's WCW cannot fall below number 2 in the rankings, which so far is happening. Can't fall in the debt, which is also happening, and Steiner and Sting must be kept popular, which I would do anyway. Let's see here. Production. Yeah, that's it. This is all fine. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and go over the roster. So let's just do this from the top. So push. Main eventers. Wow, right from the top. Okay, so yeah, Goldberg. He's Goldberg. Yeah, I mean, what else do you expect me to say here? He came back. He got signed. He's been pushed as the man. He's going to be continued to push as the man because he's Goldberg, and it's 2003, and he should have been pushed really well in an existing WCW. If we track his progress as far as popularity goes, you know, he's been kept solid. I mean, 92 is probably actually his cap, or I just don't. I also don't have like just other over people near him. That's also the thing. But yeah. So yeah, Booker T. He's up to 86s and 87s mostly. He, like, if I didn't re-sign Goldberg, he'd be my number 1 babyface, but now he gets to be the number 2 babyface. Again, track progress. He was really over during the summer when he was like the world champion feuding. Since he's dropped down to like a number 2 babyface role, he dropped down to like 85 and 86s because he's been wrestling and in feuds with like lower card people, but still really good. DDP 82s, 83s. Yeah, I mean, he can still have good matches, especially in tag matches, so he won't be like dropped completely. But it's nearing the end as far as like his in-ring career, which is unfortunate. But hopefully, I can either use him as a color commentator, or manager, or something like that. Jeff Jarrett, 76s, 75s. He had that long range as a tag tilt, as the tag champion, and that helped build him up from like 69s up to when they were like winning clean, they're up to 80s. Now after losing to a lower time, they're down to 76, but still really over. I mean, basically his spot is probably his best spot. He'll never be like a main event guy, but he can be a solid upper mid carder / quasi main eventer for me. Kanan, otherwise known as the Project, has been really successful. He's hovering in the around 90s. His popularity, again, when he was world champion, it reached a peak. Dropping the Goldberg dropped it slightly, but he's still really freaking over. And he'll flirt with my top heel. The other person we'll talk about it a little bit later. Nash, I mean, it's Nash. Like you saw, I dropped into Shane Helms. Oh, actually, see, now you guys get to see me do this live, where I totally forget that I didn't do a resweep after Starcade. So hopefully I didn't. Okay, so I mean, this probably won't change much, but I just want to make sure. So first let's reset, make sure nobody wacky got the wrong push. Okay. Talent, okay. We'll have to fix Misty and Tori. But everybody else looks okay. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. Everybody else is fine. But anyway. Back to pushes. Okay. Jeff Jarrett, Canyon, Kevin Nash. Yeah. I mean, it's Nash. He's really over. He's really entertaining, but it's Kevin Nash, and unlike everybody else on the roster, he also has creative control. So if you notice at Starcade, it had to be a screwy finish. I mean, it was going to be a quasi-screwy finish anyway because Shane Helms is a heel, but Nash wouldn't even like job to just an outside interference finish. It had to be a kept strong finish. So yeah, I might keep him around at least in the ring to basically job like to big stars, and hopefully I'll be able to like drop him to some like upper mid card or soon enough. But he Flair, I mean, Flair's just Ric Flair. He's still really over. He lost to RVD, which he wasn't happy about. But yeah. Again, as you saw, he's near the top of the getting old list. And if we actually look at his skills, let's actually check that out because I want to see like how far quick he's falling apart. So truck progress, okay. So yeah, I mean, most of this isn't too bad still. Yeah, consistency, selling's falling. Athleticism, wow, that's getting real low. Power, stamina's, yeah, okay. Microphone, I mean, he's still Ric Flair when it comes to the microphone. Yeah. So, yeah, like you could see, his in-ring days are getting done really quick. But hopefully, like, I can have a couple good more matches with him. RVD, really freaking over. I pushed him like hell. If you notice, here, this is where I signed him. He was actually not that over. But now he's, in the B. B- is pretty much everywhere except for the Southwest, weirdly. But yeah. He, was the U.S. title holder for a while. He feuded with Vampiro, feuded with Horseman, beat Flair at Starcade, so there you go. Steiner. Steiner's interesting because he's still really over, he's still really good, but it's sort of a weird position because, like there's guys who I might want to job to him, but, like, if I'm being realistic, he would never actually job to, even if the game would let him, but, like, so I want to, like, kind of keep him around, keep him strong, but keep him around to like job to guys coming up. So like you saw, he jobbed to O'Hare at Starcade. He'll job to people like that, big tough guys who like I could at least sell him on in theory to do the job. Speaking of that, Sean O'Hare up to the high 70s. He's another quasi project I've had. And yeah, so yeah, he started at the 51 at the start of the year after losing a match to Jindrak and Zajiak, where the losers would never be able to team. So he lost his team with Palumbo. And since then, yeah, he's up to a 78, 70s, 77s. So really over. Then Sting. So yeah, Sting, again, Sting's also on that time to climb list. So if you notice, I've been keeping him in like 6-mans or tag teams mostly. But yeah. But he's still really over, so he won't be completely out of the ring, but he's also like never going to be like a push top guy anymore. Then Vampiro, who, if you noticed, is really over now, and yeah, along with Canyon, he's going to be my lead heel, and yeah, like you can see, he was a 59 at the start of the year. Now he's flirting with the 90s basically everywhere. Upper mid card. Okay, so yeah, Alex Wright. Wright's interesting because I've been booking him and then not booking him. He was in that tag team with Ray Jr. He was gone for a while. I had him in the match at Starcade with Kaz where he jobbed, because he's in that position where I can't quite push him as a top guy, but I also don't want to have him as a jobber. So he's just sort of around, maybe I'll figure out a tag team for him. Maybe he'll be around the U.S. title, division for a while. Who knows? But yeah, he's in the low 60s now, which again is an improvement because he was in the 54s, at the beginning of the year. So still not bad. Next up is Kidman. As you've seen, I turned him heel, hooked him up with Christy Mist, also known as Misty, and built him up to a pretty strong heel. He had the U.S. title for a while. And now, he lost the title to Ray Jr., but he's not quite ready to move up to the main event picture. So, he'll probably feud with, there's some top level baby faces he could feud with for a while and get over that way, or I could just have him matches with other upper mid card baby faces and see what happens from there. Chuck Palumbo, again, manager with Stacy Keibler, up to mid 60s as well. He'll be sort of in this U.S. title position as well, sort of feud with stuff. Lance Storm, who's up to the early 60s as far as popularity goes. So, yeah, I've slowly been building him up. He had that awesome match with Booker at Starcade, and yeah, he'll be probably in that position, maybe jobbing to main eventers, going over lower card wrestlers, in the, mix for the U.S. title, so on and so forth. Lestat. It's interesting he's this over because I've really just been using him as... this is what happens when you put a guy who's not that over in a bunch of angles with people who are really over. Eventually, they become upper mid-card almost by accident. But yeah, he'll continue to be doing what he's doing and be the guy who, to drop falls and 6-mans or tags with Imperial Macias, occasionally just drop straight single matches to baby faces as they're feuding with the Deadpool, and yeah, just be happy he's getting a paycheck. Luger. So here's the thing with Luger. He's really not good anymore. He wasn't good at the start of this mod, and now he's only getting worse as he gets older. So unfortunately for old Flexi Lexi, it might be the end of the road for him pretty soon. If you look at his contract, he's still under contract for 9 more months, because I re-signed him near the beginning of end of this past year, because I wanted to keep him around for the specific Darkness versus Light Brigade angle. But now, yeah, I might, I have an angle for him for basically this month, and then he just might be gone. I might send him off to developmental to train people or work, or just, because I got nothing for him. But speaking of people I do have stuff for, Macias. So, Macias came in as Vampiro's muscle, and he's been pushed as a monster all year. And what happens when you do that is he goes from a basically unknown to a 65 in a year. So there you go. And yeah, if you look at his match history, since he debuted in April, he's had 21 wins and 1 loss. And I don't even think the loss was a real loss. Let's see here. Right, yeah, his only loss was in a weird 6-man where he wasn't even pinned or anything. Okay. So, yeah. He'll continue to push as a monster, and who knows what else could happen this year with him. Mike Awesome, Awesome. He's under contract. I mean, he's under contract for a while, so I'll probably push him, but he'll never be pushed as a top guy because he's 37. But I'll keep him around. I'll push him strong because he's a big guy. He'll just won't. He'll probably be part of the tag division. Maybe he might get a U.S. title run, but who knows what else. Ray Jr., who after, I'll be honest here, kind of not being pushed right for the first year I was doing the save, is now getting where he should be. He was at all 50s at the start of the year. Now he's flirting with the 70s. He's U.S. title, so he'll probably hold that for a bit. And then who knows what else he'll still do. Rick Steiner, he has a job because Scott Steiner has a job. If you look at his match history, he's basically around to do random matches, show up to job, or further feud with Scott Steiner, or have a random pre-show match, or be in a random pre-show battle royal. But yeah, that's legitimately it. If Scott Steiner ever got employed, Rick Steiner would lose his job quickly. Shane Douglas, basically the same as Jeff Jarrett, but slightly less. I'm actually surprised he's set as an upper mid-carder. He's probably right at that cusp of the main eventer. But yeah, he's right there, But again, same thing as Jarrett. He'll never be a world title run guy, but he could have matches for the world title. He could feud for the U.S. title. They could be back in the tag division. Who knows? And finally, Shane Helms, my other quasi project. He's up to early 70s, and if you look at his popularity, he's been slowly raising. It dropped a little during the fall because it really wasn't using him in actual matches, but just with lots of angles. But now he's to the top. And then if you look at his skills, if we look at track progress, so yeah, and so he's gained 10 points of charisma in a year. Actually, in the ring stuff, in the ring, he's getting slightly better. Performances overall. Mike, he's about the same on the mic, but he's getting more charismatic. So there you go. He'll never be a top guy because just he has limited star quality, but he can totally be an upper mid carder, main eventer heel for a while. After that, on the mid card, so Air Paris and Styles, just because they're basically the same people, even though I'm obviously pushing Styles a little harder because he's AJ Styles and Air Paris is Air Paris. But yeah, they both came in, eventually became tag champs, and now they're, just beat Styles, just beat Jared Douglas for the tag titles. So that's where they'll be for a while. Cash, again, he should be with Reno. They're about the same. They've been, Helms, basically lackeys. I'm going to do my best to push them a little stronger as an actual tag team this year. It's just the back end of this year was really built around the Horsemen having the tag titles, so they really didn't have much to do, especially because I was also beginning the strong push for America's Most Wanted as as a top heel team. Speaking of them, Chris Harris and James Storm are mid-carders. Basically, if we look at Storm real quick, again, popularity, there we go. They're basically, unknowns at the start of the year, and now they're solid mid-carders. Disco is a guy who I signed to a long contract, and what happened here is Eric Bischoff re-signed him to a contract. So yeah, he's around. He's getting a paycheck because he's Eric Bischoff's friend. Dustin Rhodes has had a weird year because if you look at him popularity-wise, he used to be an upper mid-carder. If you notice, he's been slowly going down. Not because I dislike him, just because I don't really have a ton to do with him. He could take the veteran, the strong veteran spot once Sting and DDP, really, start to slow down. But at the moment, this is sort of what he got involved in recently is probably what will be around. You know, if a heel wins the U.S. title, he might eventually feud with that, or he'll, fight some heels on the come up, or maybe have a feud with another big veteran heel. Finley, you know, this was an odd year for Finley because at Starrcade last year he was fighting for the tag titles, but really since then he's been if you look at him he was on the pre-show on Spring Stampede, he was in a 4-way at Bash at the Beach. Kimmin beat him at Clash of the Champions to heat him up. At Fall Brawl, Gigantes beat him to heat him up. So yeah, I mean, this has basically been his job, is to basically be a buddy, and he basically lost the tag, And unfortunately, because again, this is sort of like some of these guys are sort of like in the dead zone, where I don't have stories for them to get on Nitro, but I also have no need to really push them. So, I mean, these guys in my mid card and lower mid card are sort of the casualties of me starting a women's division, because if I didn't have a women's division, Finley could probably have a couple Nitro matches. But now I need a spot for the women's match on the show, so there you go. Gigantes, he's sort of my lesser Messias, and I've been sort of pushing him that way. So yeah, he's also older than Messias. He has problems that Messias doesn't. So even though I've been pushing him strong, he's sort of fading into the background and just telling his bodyguard for a bit. I'm going to do my best to actually push him stronger, but we'll see what happens. Jason Jett, again, he was, he was in the Cruiserweight title mix. He was in that Cruiserweight scramble. He wasn't in the Cruiserweight scramble because I didn't want to drop him. He won the pre-show Battle Royal, which is really nothing, but shows I think he has a future. I'm just not sure if it's as basically permanent Cruiserweight guy, or as something a little more. Liger's around just because, I want to. I wanted to book Liger on Starrcade in that Cruiserweight Scramble. Kaz is another guy who is in a weird spot because I want to push him, but he hasn't given me the best matches, and also he I don't want to give him the typical heel manager shtick, because I like this sort of weird gimmick I have where he's just a silent badass who's a heel but wins by submission all the time. But I also don't have a ton more to do with him beyond that. So when a heel has the Cruiserweight title, or that's why I'm sort of going to try this. That's why he won the match at Starrcade to get the match with Ray Jr., because I'm going to see how well that does, and then go from there to see where I push him. Conan, again, I don't have much to do with him, which is why he has a tag team with Rhodes. Jindrak and Stasiak. Speaking of heels, I wished I pushed better. So, So, at the end of last year, they had beat Palumbo and Hare, so you would think they would actually have a solid run, and they did at least through part of the year. But at a certain point, again, they're other mid-carders. If you notice, so they have a ton of matches, and then after the fall, they start stop it, they go from appearing basically on every Nitro, as you can see, and then they start going to Saturday night, and appearing less often. So yeah, I'm going to again, with Air Raid as champions, and Jordan Douglas no longer being the main feud, I can hopefully do a lot more with the heel tag teams, Jordan and Stasiak, America's Most Wanted, Reno and Cash, as to sort of build them as possible future top guys. Roadrunner Animal, he has a contract for another year and 4 months. Hopefully he'll get angry enough to quit. Scott Taylor. So Taylor's a weird one because I went over on the pay-per-view. He's he got he didn't have his contract renewed by the WWE. I decided to bring him in just to see how he'd do. As a cruiserweight, he might, I only signed him for a year, so he'll either drop into the Saturday night mix or he might actually get over. Who knows? Then there's Tajiri, who would have had a Starrcade match if he didn't get in a fight. So yeah. Again, he'll be at that same level as Kaz or other guys. If I get a good idea for him, I'll push him more towards the top. If I don't, then there you go. He'll hang around on Saturday night with the occasional Nitro match. Now, oops, lower mid carders. Where are ya? There we go. Nope. So yeah, Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg's will probably be have a big future as part of the cruiserweight division, as Kaz and Thierry become more part of the regular singles division, and new people come in as part of the cruiserweight division. Chavo, I'm gonna be honest here. Chavo still has a job because on the outside chance I get a chance to sign Eddie, and Eddie will be helped by Chavo being on the roster. So there you go. Till then, he's Saturday Night bait. Honestly, Miller has a quasi-permanent job as the quote-unquote host of Saturday Night because he has good entertainment skills. So I can have him show up on every Saturday night, interact with my other mid-carders, be in good entertainment angles, and hopefully get them better as well. Johnny the Bull. So Johnny the Bull is interesting because he has a good protege. Yeah, he has. Yeah, he's a protege of Flair. So that means if you actually look at his skills, well, we won't see it personally, but he's gotten to above average brawling. But yeah, he's getting a little better in all the stats, especially entertainment stats, and he's becoming excellent. So he's still not great, but I actually want to keep him around, and eventually I do want to push him. I just got to figure out the right angle because the other problem is his partner's Big Vito, and the Big Vito is Big Vito. Mike Sanders is Mike Sanders. He'll be around for a while just because he's a good hand and he can job on Saturday night till the end of time, and then do squashes on Nitro if I need somebody to build up somebody. Morningstar is of course Christopher Daniels, and yeah, he's a cruiserweight champion. He's going to be around for a long time if I have anything to say about it. And already, if we go to the popularity tracker, yeah, he's already from basically an unknown to being one of the more over guys, and one of the more over guys in the mid card. Smiley's the same position as Miller. I can do wacky angles with him on Saturday night and keep him over. Again, Taco's around because I need to before the cruiserweight scramble. And then Yang is another guy who I eventually want to push. I just don't know what to do with him yet. So right now he's just in that tag team with Noble, who I might eventually push. It just depends on who else is around. Openers, Big Vito. We went over him. He probably won't have a job once I figure out the thing I want to do with Johnny the Bull. Evan Courageous and Shannon Moore. They're 2 count. They're not the greatest. Moore will probably keep a job for a while because he's Helm's friend, but Courageous is probably not going to be around for a while. Johnny Swinger. He's also a protege of Ric Flair, which is weird, so he'll probably keep a job for a while, but he'll probably just be a jobber unless I figure out a really cool angle to do with him. Noble, I eventually want to push Noble. I just need to figure out the way to do it. I don't want to do an exact rip-off of his WB gimmick, but also want to do something entertaining and interesting with him. So, enhancements talent. So, yeah. Luke Skipper, I eventually want to push. I just haven't had the chance to with Romeo. And then there's Lash Rue, who will eventually, his contract, ooh, wow. Yeah. I think he's another one who Bischoff re-signed automatically. So yeah, I might not, another guy who I hope, wants to quit. Let's see here. Oh yeah, let's reset the thing real quick. So Macho Man Randy Savage. His contract is up in a month. I'm not going to re-sign him because even though he's really over, his matches aren't the greatest and he's old. So I have an angle to write him out at the next pay-per-view, and you'll see it when you see it. And then after that, if we go to our push, let's see here, we got entertainment, and yeah, so first let's push these guys under the right actual push, just because I'll go over them later. So to start from the top here, we've got Amber O'Neil, the future Bullet Babe. She's been a solid heel, and she'll probably be one of the women I push pretty strong. If you notice, yeah, again, she's already up into the mid-30s, which is really good. Beth Phoenix. Beth is the current women's world champion. Have an angle coming up with her that'll be interesting. And yeah, she'll probably be pushed pretty strongly until, somebody else passes over here as the top babyface. Celine Cartier, also known as Lufisto, already up at mid-30s. She's a good babyface, but she's also, I think, a strong heel, so I might eventually turn her heel if we look at her skills. Okay, so she's average as a heel. Okay, so maybe not. But we'll figure out what we do with her. So yeah, Phoenix is also strong as a heel, so that might be the heel run eventually, but who knows. Emi Sakura, I honestly probably need to just release her because I'm not really doing a ton with her, and I just signed her originally just to get a women's, basically a Japanese women on the show as part of the tournament. So yeah, Gail Kim, really good, already getting over. Possibly going to be my lead heel for a while. There you go. Lawler, she's never been part of the women's division because she just run over it. But yeah, she's really over. I could probably put her in a match with the men and have it actually go over strong. But I don't know if I want to do that. But yeah, she's really freaking over because she's in all these 100 A-star angles with the rest of the Horsemen. And then, she never takes losses. After that, Jordan Cole, also known as Chrissy Vane. She's also getting really over. She'll be a solid, she's a really good babyface. She also might be eventually be a really good heel, so there you go. And Lexi James, also known as Mickey James, also known as Alexis 3, also known as, again, with Kim going to be like my lead heel one for a while. So now that we've done that, let's go over to all the people who have out of the ring pushes. So Arn's a road agent. I have the inklings of an angle to possibly bring him back on screen, but that depends on some stuff that might happen, so look out for that. Billy Silverman is a ref. Body Heenan I will keep around, for as long as I can because he's awesome. Robinson is a referee. Don Marie is Jan Draken Stage Jack's manager. She's gotten a little bit more over through the year. And yeah. Dusty, he was Dustin's manager. Now he's just a backstage road agent. It's Dusty. I'm going to keep him around. Bischoff, again, he's officially a heel, but I've been played him as basically his WWE character, which is doing the best for business / ratings. He's gotten strongly over, and he's also my boss. Gene is Gene. I eventually want to replace Gene, not because he's bad or anything, but just because at this point he was getting a little old. Barash, he's an announcer. It's Jeremy Barash. Lawler, again, he originally came in as Messias' manager. Messias moved over to Deadpool. Now I'm going to have him be as part of the America's Most Wanted package and see if that works. Ace, road agent. There you go. Mark Johnson, ref. Mickey J, ref. Majaja. Basically Scott Steiner's eye candy. I don't know what else to do with her, so she'll be around for a while. Mike Tenay, announcer. Miss Jones. Yeah. She's Ernest Miller's, Girl Friday on Saturday night. And yeah, she's getting a little more over doing that on Saturday night. But yeah, she'll probably be kept around because she is, she's pretty cheap. She's actually pretty solid, and yeah, she's around. Misty, also known as Christy Mist. If you don't know who she is, do a Google with the safe search off, and there you go. But she's actually getting pretty solidly over as a heel act with Kidman, so that's good. Patrick is a ref. Scott Hudson. Stacy Keebler, who is, actually, she's oddly one of my more over people. So I'm probably misusing her a little bit by having her just be Chuck Palumbo's manager, but I like the gimmick, and yeah. Stevie Ray, who I probably should put on color commentator or bring in as somebody's manager, or I'll figure out something, but yeah, there you go. Terry Taylor, road agent, Tony Schiavone, Tori Wilson, currently sort of stuck in limbo. She's officially Alex Wright's manager, but I haven't done much with that. Again, another person who's like, yeah, she should be has a huge star quality and should be used, but I just need to figure out the right gimmick for her. So that's it for the actual roster. And now let's go ahead and look at my developmental fed. So let's start with the men. Adam Ortiz is a regen, as you can see with the picture of Jerry Lawler. He's solid, but he'll still be down there for a while. Andrew Big is another regen, but who I might like actually bring up eventually, but you know, not too bad. Chance Profit is a person who is either going to get a run on the main roster as a cruiserweight, or I'll release him eventually. Depends on how he does actually in the ring on Nitro. Chris Rambola. So, if you don't know who he is, he was basically on the developmental territory for a while, but he never got on the main roster. So I'll see if he actually gets like solidly better. So if you look, you know, if we track his progress as far as skills go, you know, he's been sort of stuck through the year. So I'll see if he actually gets any better, because again, it looks like he's, you know, not really any better. Drew Onyx. Onyx is eventually going to get a push on the main roster, because even though he's not a great worker, he has size. He has, you know, I mean, he has size. So worst case, he can be, you know, somebody to, you know, build up as a, you know, big brawly heel and eventually, you know, do some jobs to some baby faces. Evans will eventually be on the main roster as a cruiserweight because it's Jack Evans. Jimmy Tucker's a manager. Ryan's interesting because he's not actually that good yet, but his stuff is also peaking, so I don't know what I actually want to do with him. I might bring him on the main roster, see if he does any better in the ring or in angles, but then we'll go from there. Divine, I'll probably keep, like, he's in real life a future Team Canada member in TNA, but I'll probably bring him in eventually as part of the Cruiserweight division, see if he can get anywhere. Walker, yeah. Walker, I'm probably going to release because he's not getting any really better. Ken Anderson, yeah. I might eventually bring Anderson on the main roster. I'll see what we can do with him. Kenzo Suzuki, the future, I think it was Hirohito. Do you want to give him the gimmick? So yeah, he's still a lot of his stuff can still be improved. So he'll be on like the you know, the developmental roster for a while. Killswitch and Wrathchild are first, both guys I'm either going to bring in as basically backup for the Deadpool, or I'm going to release. Just see once I figure out how good they are. And my Smooth, also known as Ice Train, I might just have him. I mean, he's still not great, and I still don't have like a great angle for him. And then if we look at his actual skills here, like he's still not what you would call good in the ring. But yeah, maybe I can figure out an angle for him eventually. Marcus Militek is a regen. He's solid. I might bring him up to the main roster eventually. Monty Brown is really good. Well, he's not really good, but he's really charismatic. He's getting over. He's the current NWA World Champion because Wildside, and he's probably going to be on the main roster before the end of the year. Paul London is another guy who will be on the main roster before the end of the year as a cruiserweight. Prince Nana, I'm probably going to bring him up, but as a manager instead of a main worker because he's really small. But he might come up as a regular roster. It all depends. Ray Gordy is another guy who will probably be a cruiserweight eventually, but it all depends on how I can, if I can figure out a good angle for him. Ray LaPon, the future Adam Rose. I'm just going to see if he ever gets better. He's another guy who I'll see how he does in the ring. Like, yeah, if we actually look at his skills, and so yeah, if we go to his skills, he's actually gotten like decent in the ring. So I might bring him up to the main roster and just see how he survives as part of like the mid card. Ricky's Steamboat is training folks. The Ballad Brothers, like again, these are guys where I might have to like sort of like crap or get off the pot with them. So future Corey Graves is actually pretty solid, so I'll probably bring him up to the cruiserweight division eventually. Tank Dolan, another guy who I'll see either. Probably I'll keep him on the developmental roster for a while yet. Teddy Hart will come up to the main roster. I even have a gimmick and an angle for him, so there you go. Tony Jones is solid, but again, I have to figure out a way to get him onto the main roster. Tony Gozia is still like working on stuff. Trevor Rhodes will eventually get on the main roster, but he's still working. And then we are running Ross Tryout. So then if we jump from NWA Wildside to AWQ, my women's division. So yeah, Allison Danger is great. She's a current champion for my women's developmental fed, but she'll eventually be brought on the main roster because she's really solid. Angel Williams, feature Angelina Love. Yeah, she's solid. She'll be on the roster soon. Annie Social. Not terrible, but I also need to figure out a way to get her on the roster. Bonnie Maxon, not too bad, but will probably be in developmental for a while. Cheerleader Melissa. She's another woman who's probably going to be brought to the main roster sooner than later. Sydney Rogers, I just signed her near the end of the year, so she'll be in here for a bit. Katarina Waters is solid, but I just don't have space for her on the main roster yet. Kim Nielsen is I don't know what I'm going to do with her. Lacey is solid in ring, but again, need to figure out a solid angle for her. Malia Hosaka will probably be in here forever, just, helping train folks. Miss Molly, yeah, again, signed her only a little bit ago, so she'll be working. Natty, again, needs to work a lot, but yeah, I have an idea for her, so that'll be something interesting. Nikki Rocks, she'll probably need to be brought on the main roster sooner than later, but I'll need to figure out an actual angle for her. Roni Jonah, same thing. She doesn't have much to do actually in developmental, but I also need to figure out what else to actually do with her. Lucina Busick is the same thing as Katarina Waters. Need to figure out a space and angle for him. And then Tracy Brooks still a lot can be improved with her. So yeah, that's it for the actual company. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other feds. And, well, no, actually, I think what we're going to do is this is going to be a two-parter. So this is the end of part one. The actual going over my company. Next up, we'll go over the other companies as far as WWE, New Japan, All Japan, other stuff, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So go ahead and give this a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this, and yeah. See you in a bit. Adios. Okay, welcome folks to the second part of the year in review here for 2002, and let's just go over the companies and let's just see what's happening. So WWE, if you've followed along, you sort of knows what's going on with them, but their popularities, solid 87. Let's just check out their roster real quick, or let's first look at their titles. So European Champion is X-Pac. Intercontinental title belongs to Christian after he defeated Al Snow for it back at SummerSlam. King of the Ring was won by Eddie Guerrero. Light Heavyweight Champion is Jerry Lynn, who recently beat Grandmaster Sexy for it after Grandmaster Sexy beat him for it at Survivor Series. Women's Champion is Lita, who's held it since SummerSlam. World Heavyweight Champion is Kurt Angle, who beat Triple H and Eddie Guerrero in a three-way at SummerSlam. And World Tag Team Champions are the APA, who won the titles at SummerSlam. So if we do a quick look at their roster, this is not going to be a thing where I go through the whole roster, but I'm going to look over the main eventers and then some other random people that you'd be surprised are on the roster. So the current main event is The Big Show, Chris Jericho, who's currently on tour, Eddie Guerrero, Edge, who's gotten a really big push, Kane, Kurt Angle, the world champ, Scott Hall, I didn't realize they turned it. Okay. See, yeah, okay. Shawn Michaels, Steve Austin, who's still a heel, The Undertaker, and Triple H. Then if you look at the rest of the roster, I think... So yeah, Brock Lesnar is up to 60s, so he's an upper mid-carder. So not quite as strong pushes in real life, but still getting pushed well. Cheetah Kid, also known as Rocco Rock, is on the roster. Okay. Let's see here. Some other interesting people on the roster. Greg Valentine. Oh, he's a roadie, so that's fine. Aku's on the roster as a occasional wrestler. Samu's on the roster as an enhancement talent. Let's see here. I'm just looking for anybody else incredibly interesting. Let's see here. They did bring up Randy Orton, and he's been pushed pretty solidly. Ron Waterman is randomly on the roster. Shawn Michaels came back like in real life. Taylor Matheny, who is from Tough Enough, is actually being pushed quasi-well. Barry Windham is still a part of the roster for God knows what reason as a stalker. Thrasher randomly has a job. Okay. Yeah, and that's about it. If you look at their alumni, yeah, so not Head Shrinkers, the Bushwhackers were on the roster for a bit. Yeah. So then, if we go ahead and let's look at over at New Japan. New Japan, okay. So they're at high 70s. So Best of Super Juniors last year was won by Minoru Tanaka. G1 Climax was won by Hase. G1 Climax Tag League was won by Tenzan Kojima for the second straight year. IGB Tag Champions are Tenzan and Kojima, as they have been since the start of the save. Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions are Elstein Ryan Liger, also basically since the start of the save. Junior Heavyweight Champion is Taiyo Kiya, who's been champion since Murakami left for an MMA fight, I believe. Heavyweight Champion is Riki Choshu, again, since defeating Fujita for the title. So yeah, he's held the title for a long time. Again, just check out the roster. Let me see if there's anybody interesting on there. Chris Candido. So there's somebody interesting. Akushi. Linus Asuka is on there as a... I don't even know. And I think... Oh, Rob Rage yeah. But I actually think, yeah, I think that's about it as far as, well, Wing Kanamura, but, you know, what can you do? And then we go over to beautiful Pro Wrestling Noah, where if we look at their titles, so tag team titles held by Akita and Kanemaru. They've held the title since the beginning of the save. Junior tag titles, same thing, Akita and Kanemaru. They've held the title since the beginning of the save. Junior Heavyweight Champion is Kenta, the future Kenta, who beat Marufuji for the title back in September. And the heavyweight title is Akiyama, who beat Misawa for the title in May of 2002 and held the title since then. Looking at the roster, nobody you wouldn't expect. Vader is a referee. Okay, that's sort of crazy. But yeah, other than that, like nothing else you expect. Misawa is currently injured. Let's see here if we look at his physical. Yeah, he'll be back in 7 days. But yeah, it's Misawa, so he's broken down. And then if we look at where we're looking at All Japan. So title-wise, World's Strongest Tag Team is won by... See, this is something I need to fix, but the World's Strongest Tag Team is currently a singles... Okay. World Junior Heavyweight Champion was Superior Uchi Power, but now it's vacant. Unified Tag Teams is Kia and Smith. Yeah, if you notice, it's Kia and Smith. Kia has a New Japan and All Japan contract. Champions Carnival was won by Muda last year. All Asia Tag Champion is Arashi and Yone. And then Triple Crown Champion is Kawada, who's held the title since defeating Tenryu for it. Like, that's like the major companies. If we look at, let's see here, US. Of course, some companies might be interested in. So MLW, their roster is a weirdo mix of Brian Clark, BG James, Mark Mero, Robert Gibson, Jason Cross, other wacky people. So yeah. And then even weirder is Ring of Honor, which has as their top guys Danny Doring, Excalibur, Shark Boy, Amazing Red, Icarus. Yeah. Your current ROH World Champion is Chino Martinez. Okay. Yeah, this is a weird like sort of alternate universe where the indies aren't really getting started up as much because WCW still exists. But anyway, I really think that's like the other Japanese Fed is not that interesting, and there's not much been changed in Mexico. So again, let's look over my developmental Feds as far as their title history because it's weird. So they have like 3 actual titles, then there's all the NWA titles, which I'll also go over in a second. So right now, the Georgia Junior Heavyweight Champion. It started out as Jimmy Rave. Lazarus won the title in November, held it till February. Teddy Hart won the title, held that till June. Keith Walker won it as a transitional champ. Joey Ryan won the title, held the title till July. Then I think he got injured or something. Then Ray Gordy won the title, held it for a month, and then Teddy Hart won the title back in September. Then he dropped it to Ray Lepen, who then dropped the title to Onyx. Wildside Tag Team Champions started out as Keith Cole and Kent Cole. They eventually dropped the titles to Stradlin and Sexton. They dropped the titles to Rumbla and Onyx, who held the titles from June to September. And then Prince Nana and Cassidy O'Reilly won the titles in September. And then Wildside Heavyweight Champion started out the year with David Flair being champion. He held the title until March when Hellraiser or the current Gigantes won it. They vacated the title when I brought him up. That was very OVW of me. Then Teddy Hart won the title. He held it for about 3 months. Then Jimmy Rave won the title. He held it till September. Then Jack Evans held the title till basically the end of this year, when at their big Holiday Hell show, Homicide won the Wildside title. Then if we take a look at the NWA titles, which are here. So, the NWA National Heavyweight title was held by Paul London from July till October. Now it's for currently Fujiwara. Yes, Paul London and Fujiwara had a match in this reality. Weird. North American Heavyweight Champion was held by, was held by Robbie Royce, and that got vacated. Takiwala held it for basically a year. Then Scotty Wren held it, and then Takiwala had another long title reign, and then he dropped it to Prince Nana recently. The World Junior Heavyweight Champion. So, Blitzkrieg held it for until the beginning of the year in February. Steve Corino held it for about 4 months. Then Kent Cole won it, and then he dropped it to Todd Skilston. World Tag Team titles have been held by Kent Cole and Keith Cole since June 2002, and the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. So at the start of this year, it was held by Yoshiaki Yatsu. Jimmy Rave won it at the beginning of the year. He dropped it to Monty Brown, who held it till July, who dropped it back to Adam Jacobs, and then who dropped it back to Monty Brown, who's still the current world champion. I think that's it. Let me see here. Is there anything weird and wacky I wanted to go over? We went over the NWA World Champions. We went over the NWA Champions. Oh, I wanted to go over... Right. So... Right. There's no other weirdo companies. No. Okay. Oh, right. I wanted to show, like, the most over people who don't... Okay. But anyway. For my... so, Queen of the Ring... In my Women's Notable Fed this year was won by Angel Williams. The tag team titles was held by Roni Jonah and Angel Williams until April. Then it got vacated. Gail Kim and Kim Nielsen won it. They held it for 3 months. They handed it over to cheerleader Melissa Angel Williams, who had one defense, losing it Academy Runners to Amber O'Neil. The titles got vacated again when I brought Amber O'Neil up to the main roster, and recently Roni Jonah and Miss Molly won the titles. And now the actual championship. Angel Williams held the title at the start of the year, dropped to Angel Williams in February, held it till April. From April to July, Angel Williams held the title again. Amber O'Neal came in with the title reign between July and September, and then Angel Williams held it from September to December. And recently, Allison Danger began her first reign as champion. Let's see here. Yeah, just to take a quick look at the... If we look at unemployed people who are at least, let's say, a region well known in the U.S. So yeah, so these are basically like the quasi-important unemployed people. So Bret Hart, is retired. Kurt Hennig was part of the WWE. He got let go. I don't want to bring him in because I know he has drug problems, and I don't really have a lot to do for him. David Arquette is David Arquette. Dennis Rodman is Dennis Rodman. George Gorge is dead. Hulk Hogan is Hogan. If you notice, his popularity has actually slowly dropped, so that's interesting. Ventura is Ventura. He's out of the business. Karl Malone is out of the business. Mike Tyson is out of the business. Owen Hart is Owen Hart. The Rock is on hiatus. Obviously, made him going on hiatus to do his movie career like he did in real life. And Yokozuna is also, unfortunately, deceased. So, yeah. Let's see here. I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything else at all that would be interesting to take a look at. Let's see here. Oh, let's do that real quick. So OVW, if we check out their roster, so I'm not sure who's under a developmental territory gimmick and who's just been signed by the OVW. So we got Bloody Phoenix, which is interesting. Bull Buchanan, Christy Ricci, Damaja, Damien, Danny Davis, the owner, Dean Hill, Dutch Mantel, Eric Engel, Flash Flanagan, Jackie Cada, Jimmy Keys, Jerry Jarrett, who's here, I think, as a, I don't even know, Jillian Hall, Johnny Spade, Kara Slice, Preacher Cherry, Katie Bolin, Jim Cornette's former best friend, Leviathan, the future Batista, Linda Miles, the future Shaniqua, Lizzie Borden, a former porn star, Lizzie Valentine, there you go, Mark Henry, Maven, Miss Natural, Mr. Black, let's see here, Nick Dinsmore, future Eugene, Riku Constantine, Rip Rogers, Riptide, who is a woman wrestler, Rob Conway, Ryan Shamrock, who again is here as a manager and very good at it specifically, Sarah Stock, who's in here as part of the women's division, Sean Casey, Shelly Martinez, also here as part of the women's division, Shelton Benjamin, here to get over, Shirley Martel, here as a manager, which is interesting, Slash, Sly Scraper, yeah, okay, also known as Sylvester Turkey, The Machine, also known as one of the Bashams, Tom Pritchard, and Trailer Park Trash. So, yeah. So at that, that's about it. So that's it for part 2 of this year in review segment. Next up will be 2003, Nitro, and everything from there on. So again, if you're enjoying this, go ahead and give it a like. Give your thoughts below in a comment. And if you're enjoying this, go ahead and, subscribe for more. For more TEW. That's all for now. See you later. Adios.